Good Tuesday morning, and thanks for checking out the latest long-range video forecast analysis here. Michael Clark, meteorologist with BAMWX.com and theweatherporthole.com. We're going to analyze a lot of what obviously the big story is right now, and that is Hurricane Laura. It is now a Category 1 hurricane, and we're going to talk about why we think it's going to do what it's going to do, and then I'm going to give you a brief glimpse into the long-range outlook. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on long-range today, but I will talk about it. The impactful weather outlook, our 3 to 7 day hazardous weather outlook, if you will, does highlight many locations here for much above normal temperatures here across portions of the central U.S. into the Corn Belt and into the Mid-Atlantic, and also highlights very lower relative humidity values. So just maximum kind of dry out conditions continue. Heavy rainfall from Laura, we believe, will go across the southern portions of the Ohio Valley and into the Mid-Atlantic. Okay, a storm cluster may target southern Kansas, northern Oklahoma here around the 29th. But obviously today's big story is going to be Hurricane Laura. All right, you can see the latest satellite imagery showing this storm really starting to get its act together. It's venting well. Convection is exploding. It's off the island now. It's into the Gulf of Mexico. It's off Cuba now. And I think we're going to really start to see this storm get its act together and strengthen over the next several hours. I wouldn't be surprised to have a pretty organized storm with possibly even an eye wall showing up by lunch or just shortly after. There's a healthy eastern side of this storm, and the western and the northern side is still organizing a little bit, but you can see the spin here in the atmosphere, an indication of what's to come. So this is the latest placement of where this area of low pressure is, right at about 86.5 west and at about 23 north. You can see the area here of low pressure, or the center, quote unquote, of Laura. Okay, so the reason I bring this up is because we note some very interesting observations from the computer models, from the observations from where the models are starting. These graphics here were posted by Tomer Berg. You can follow Tomer Berg on Twitter. It's an excellent account to follow. It posts a lot of great information and great graphics like these. So check out his account. Again, these here by Tomer Berg. But these are great. What this is telling us is that when we're looking at where the actual center of Laura has been and where the models are, okay, everything has initialized too far north, really overall, of the actual placement of Laura. And so what that's going to do is really drastically, we think, impact the forecast. What we've done, or what Tomer has done here, is he's taken the ensemble members from the European, the UK Met, and the GEFS, and we've taken the ones that have initialized within the closest spot for Laura's position, okay? And what we've done here is, what you're looking at is where those ensemble members take this storm, where the best performing members take it. And those are highlighted in black, but what you can see here is that the cluster, the concentration of that, really west of Louisiana and along the Texas coastline, with really the mean of all that right into Houston and the Galveston area. Okay, so taking the best performing model ensembles and taking that forecast out gives you kind of a better idea of what those are doing. Okay, so again, here's what we're doing. This is where the center of the storm is, and you can see this is from the 0Z European ensembles, where a lot of them, again, are just too far north. There are a few of them that are under the that have the right idea here that this storm is the ensemble members are in the right spot, if you will, with where that storm is currently situated. So it kind of gives us a better idea on what to use or what ideas to come up with. These further west and south solutions make more sense, and I'm going to talk about why they do here in just a second. All right, this is an observed sounding coming here out of Louisiana this morning, and the observed sounding indicates that 500 millibar heights are coming in around 592 or 5,992 meters, which would indicate that the ridge is actually a little bit stronger than what the model data is leaning towards or hinting or suggesting, especially that of the GEFS. I've included a forecast trend graphic illustrating what I'm talking about. These are from Levi Cohen, tropicaltidbits.com. Again, another great free source of data out there. But watch as you go from hour 90 to hour 6 as the ridge slowly strengthens and inches its way ever so slightly west. Even the latest forecast technically is still undermining or underdoing the intensity or the strength of this southeastern ridge. And we're also noticing a little bit of a weaker trough trend here into Texas. These are going to have drastic impacts on the track of Laura. I want to show you this here. This is the EPS. Its latest run, again, weakens the trough a little bit in Texas, but strengthens the ridge here. And I think it's really now finally starting to get a better handle that the ridge is actually a little bit stronger. You can see the 591 heights, getting further and further west, closer to Louisiana, and closer to the observed sounding. Now, this isn't like the silver bullet and guarantee that this is, exactly what's going to happen, but the writing is on the wall. The trend is on the wall here. We've talked about this since yesterday. These maps here via weathermodels.com show the latest 6Z European operational model with really a direct impact into the Houston area just east of Galveston. Really, the center, the eye, would go just east of downtown Houston, but it would impact here the harbor. But I still think this is possible, that this could be a little too far east. I really believe that a landfall in Louisiana is off the table right now. I think that is off the table. Can it still happen, or can we still see a big east adjustment? Possibly. I mean, I would say maybe there's a 10% chance of that happening. But guys, looking at the latest ECMWF ensembles, in terms of landfall, in terms of putting this thing on land, when the eye hits land here, this is Thursday morning. It would be just around 2 a.m. But note you have 2 ensemble members that would impact the far southwestern corner of Louisiana. But 49 out of 51 members are now along the Texas coastline. And some of those are even well south and west of Galveston, Houston area, down into the Corpus Christi area. Okay? And the reason for this is because we're continuously seeing a further south, further west storm track from Laura as it's actually happening. And so that really needs to be considered. All right? And I think it's something that's not being considered overall by the NHC currently. Or it is in their discussions, but the maps are not officially reflecting that. We're in crunch time, and I think that if you're in this area highlighted, you really need to start taking this pretty seriously and just get out, really, quite frankly. Here's our forecast. It really hasn't changed much from yesterday. We have a Category 4 hurricane at landfall Thursday morning, or Thursday at midnight, right over Galveston area, okay? And this is our cone of uncertainty, if you will. Okay, so we have just at Port Arthur down to Corpus Christi. Now, it's possible that we may need to shift this cone and this forecast west and south a little bit. It's possible we may need to come in through here and do one of these numbers and maybe make landfall a little bit further west and southwest, pending how the evolution of models go today. But again, the strength of that ridge, if it continues to ever so slightly nudge west and the trough continues to weaken, the ridge will nudge the storm west and the trough won't pick it up as quickly just because it's weaker. It's not as much of a factor. All right, so let's look at precipitation from this storm. The video cut off there, but I had to grab the right map. The wrong map popped up. This is the European on its precipitation forecast. This is the next 5 days. Very heavy rainfall, East Texas, western Louisiana, southern Missouri, and then the front will come in and and pick this up and take it along and south of the Ohio River. So the 1 to 5 day precip swath is here. Okay, You add in total 10 days, and it might get pretty active the start of week 2 across much of the Corn Belt. Okay, there's pretty decent shots of precipitation. However, I'm already seeing red flags in Iowa. I'm a little concerned with what I'm seeing there. We'll kind of keep an eye on that, but not a slam dunk forecast that Iowa's going to get a bunch of rain just yet. Okay. So here's our week 1 and 2 precipitation forecast. Again, week 1 percentages away from normal, if you will, the percentages of normal from precipitation. You can see here just where we're favoring the track of Laura, okay, to go right in through the coastline of Texas, up and through the Arklatex regions and into the southern Ohio Valley. Week 2, again, it is active. 150% of the normal precipitation to start out the week. But once the cold front moves in, which it will, the precipitation, the pattern will start to dry out and turn a little bit less active as we get into week 2. But a cold front's going to move in, and it's going to cool off to start September. All right? We do think the pattern can begin to warm up as we close out week 2 and get into week 3 as the MJO will move into phase 3. The timing of this remains a bit up in the air because there's also some stuff going on with the SOI and in the Western Pacific that may throw a wrench in how quickly we get warm. I still think mid to late September is very warm. I don't think we've seen the last of the heat yet, but there could be some obstructions here to the forecast. The Western Pacific typhoon, there could be a recurvature that influences the jet stream. Perhaps allows for a trough to come in around the September 8th time frame, which our SOI drop today, I believe we had around a 15-point SOI drop today, would also indicate there could be a cold front around that time that may reinforce the cooler risks in later in week 2. But we're not ready to fully jump on that yet. So bottom line is that it could stay cooler through, let's say, September 10th or 11th if this risk decides to verify. But we still, overall, with the MJO and the global wind oscillation, we still overall favor a warmer mid to late September going forward, okay? Here's that week 3 risk from the CFS V2 Weekly. This is September 8th to the September 14th time frame. It does pick up on the risk of it being colder still, much below normal temperatures for a time, and something we'll just have to monitor. But our official weeks 3 and 4 outlook from the 8th to the 21st of September does favor the return of above normal temperatures across much of the U.S., more so to the west to start out, may migrate to the east with time, but probably a drier pattern too during this time frame, as a couple of different things, especially with the MJO and the global wind pattern, suggest it could be drier overall. But the tropical risk of things, the tropics will remain probably pretty active going forward. That's all I have for today. If you're along the Texas coastline, again, please take this storm very seriously. Let me pull up our official forecast here just real quick, and I'll show you, again, just kind of the thought process with this storm. It is different from the NHC. I anticipate the NHC should adjust by 11 a.m., but I thought that yesterday as well. That didn't happen. But if you are along the Texas coastline from Port Arthur down to Corpus Christi, you need to be taking this storm very seriously. We'll keep you posted. Have a great day.